Welcome back to another episode of the Pod World Travelled by Seven West Media. I'm Penny Thomas and I'm a travel writer here at the West Australian newspaper. Today in the studio, I'm joined by our regular guest to the show, travel editor Stephen Scourfield, and I'm also joined by our senior sports reporter, Craig O'Donoghue. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you very much.
Morning.
Okay, so I guess before we sort of get into it, for our regular listeners, they might be wondering why a sports reporter is on our show this morning. And I should probably tell them that we're not going to talk about my beloved Fremantle Dockers just at the minute. But Craig's actually just returned from a travel assignment to Dubai. So let's dive into it and talk about your recent travel assignment and everything that you sort of got up to.
So it was phenomenal. I literally got called into the boss's office on a Thursday at lunchtime and said, can you fly to Dubai on Saturday night? And I thought he was joking. I thought it was just mucking around. And I was like, no, you need to ring your wife, tell her you're going away and organise someone else to coach your kids' soccer team. We want you to go and have a look at Atlantis The Royal, which was an astonishing and lucky opportunity for me to get. And then you get there and it's the best hotel in the world, you could almost say. It's incredible the amount of luxury they've got there, the buzz around it, the opportunities just to do anything you want and spend 3 days at a hotel and not feel like you need to leave the hotel at any point because of the restaurants and the facilities and the people. It was extraordinary. I've travelled a little bit for work. I've travelled a bit for pleasure. I've experienced nothing like it.
Yeah, right. And it was your first time to Dubai as well?
First time to Dubai. Never a place I would have ever even said that I was keen to go to. Mm-hmm. I'm more, let's go to Europe or let's go to America if I was looking to do those sorts of things. So I had no idea what to even expect. I was ringing people saying, culturally, what do I need to know about so I don't break any rules? What do I need to wear? Going shopping a couple of hours before the flight to make sure I was prepared. I got there and it was more westernized than I ever would have thought it was. Yeah. And it felt like I was just in any normal country that I would have gone to previously, as opposed to in the Middle East where there are a lot of different cultures and rules.
Okay. And I guess what were some of the highlights of the trip?
The food at the restaurants and the way you are treated at those restaurants and the way that they set up the meal that you're going to have is remarkable. It was all based around storytelling. And you got your chef coming out to your table the entire time, not just because I was there and they knew that I was a journo, but that this was happening throughout each restaurant that I went to, that they would tell you the story of why they made the meal and how they made the meal in advance. And at a dinner by Heston Blumenthal, Tom Allen, the chef, comes out and is explaining that they went to the British Library to research all the different sorts of meals that were being fed to monarchs back in the 13, 14, 1500s and try to change those meals into modern dining. So you get given what looks like a mandarin on the plate, and it's actually a chicken liver parfait, which is designed around the tone of a meal that was made back then into something that now links back to the current day. And those sorts of things that were going on, you're going, how do you come up with these ideas so much? They're working with historians to come up with different ideas. They had a pineapple on a spit roast to resemble what one of the former kings used to have in his palace, where he had a kid winding around a spit roast with a pig on it, but they wanted to replace the pig with a pineapple because it was part of their pineapple tipsy cake. So there's so many elements of it where you're being entertained through the food, not just eating the food. It was remarkable. Yeah,
and it did sort of sound like you've been treated like royalty as well. I was just reading your article, which is going to be, I think, in this weekend's paper.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And I liked the Beyonce reference that you sort of tied in there. Can you tell us about that and why she got a call out?
So Beyonce hadn't done a concert for years. She's been off Broadway in a little bit, just getting her life in order, doing whatever she has to do. When you're a pop star, it's hard to travel the world all the time. And they rang her and said, can you launch the hotel, please, with a concert? And she said yes. And they were blown away that she said yes. And she came over in January and stayed for the entire week after the concert, did her set out over the top of the fountains that they've got there as well, and just became the headline act to say, not only are we opening, we're opening with a bang. And as I've said in the article, it doesn't matter whether you're a single lady, whether you're me, myself and I, or whether you're trying to put a ring on it or anything like that, when you go there, you do feel like you run the world, because there is so many opportunities for you to do something different. And they had me on a bit of a schedule, go here, go here, go here, go here every day, and have a look at one of the 17 different restaurants, or go and look at the aquariums they've got, or go and look at Nobu by the beach, which is a restaurant which is right out by a private pool, go up to Cloud 22, which is on the 22nd level with a 90-metre pool overlooking the city. And there was so many different things you could go to and spend hours there. And people were having a great time.
Yeah. And it sounds like an establishment like that, you can really stay there for days and kind of get lost as well, which it sort of seems like you did, because we were just talking off air and Craig, sort of, you admitted that you didn't get to explore too far out from the resort, but Dubai's a place that you've been to many times, Stephen.
That's right.
Can you tell us about what you sort of
it's so interesting. Firstly, before we go into that, I mean, it's just so interesting to hear Craig talking about it. And, you know, as you referenced, I mean, Craig's, you know, well known for his sports writing, but it's fantastic because, you know, we're journalists applying ourselves to whatever, you know, sport, travel, whatever it is. And it's just really worth saying to the audience, these are the skills that come with journalism, that, you know, Craig can turn around from a Thursday and get on a plane on Saturday and go and write about a Michelin-star restaurant. You know, that's the sort of skills that you have in old-style journalism to be able to do those things. And what he's done has just been so fantastic. You know, and that's so different to a lot of the modern influencing and yada yada that goes on, you know, and I'm just so, you know, interested to have someone else's opinion on this anyway. But you're right about there's a shift in, I mean, some of us remember Dubai when it was, you know, a pretty small place. And as it develops, you know, like being out on the Palm at Atlantis is its own destination now. Jumeirah Beach really is its own destination. So I think that's one factor of Dubai now as a hub, is that whereas, you know, most people used to stay in, you know, sort of in the centre, and you'd go to the old museum and the waterfront and up the creek and so on and so forth. Now you can actually get, you know, you can be off in a place, you say the aquariums there are, you know, you can spend hours looking around the place anyway. So just think about, you know, if you're doing a stopover in Dubai, just think about where you're staying, because you'll probably be in that location. In fact, I had a message last night from Mogens Johansson, our other colleague, who's in Singapore, you know, and he's at Sentosa, and the same sort of applies there. As these places grow, if you're on Sentosa, you're probably not really going to get to Raffles. You know, you're going to be on Sentosa because there's so much to do. So I think thinking about those things is kind of important when you're thinking about stopovers anyway, which is mostly what Dubai is for us. Certainly when, you know, I mean, because of Emirates flights, it's been an important hub for us for 20 years. Despite having the Qantas direct flight to London, you know, which, I mean, as planes get better and the range gets longer, you know, I recently did that flight from Singapore to New York and back, you know, so we'd super long range flights. So the 16 plus hours to London, direct from Perth to London, is no longer a massive feat, you know, quite honestly. It tempts us to fly over hubs like Dubai rather than go there. But then also, just another thought for the audience is to think about what direct flights mean. So yes, you save going to Dubai, and I'll get back to Dubai in a moment, but then you arrive at London at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, you know, what are you going to do, sort of thing? So, you know, you may be better off going to a hub, getting off, stretching your legs, getting back on and arriving at 7, because there's not much you can do between 5 and 7 anyway, sort of thing. So don't just, with all the direct flights, which will continue to increase, and point to point is the future of flying in many ways, but don't discount hubs. And, you know, certainly if I was going to London, I mean, I was just looking yesterday, there's a free stopover for business class with Emirates, which has just been launched. So just think about having a couple of days or 2 or 3 days there, somewhere like Atlantis on the Palm, or somewhere, you know, in the city, or Jumeirah Beach, as I've mentioned. And, you know, if you've got the kids, you're going to the water park, you're going to the aquariums, you know, it's a completely different world. I mean,
it's really setting itself up as more than just a stopover destination as well, and I think it will only increase, won't it?
Well, it will. I mean, you might have had this experience, Craig. But when you stand in a hotel in Dubai, I do anyway, and you look at these big windows, and it's almost like a screen because it's like a CGI world. It's like computer generated.
Yeah, it was remarkable what they had when you walk into the foyer. They had 3 aquariums, floor-to-ceiling aquariums with 4,000 jellyfish in them.
Yeah.
I'm looking, going, what have I walked into here? And you mentioned the Palm. So the Palm and the Royal are both linked. Mm-hmm. And you have to get either on the shuttle bus or the golf cart around the back to take you to between the two of them, and you're able to access the facilities at both of the hotels. So the water park is more on the way to the Palm. But as part of your booking the room, you can go in the water park, and the kids would absolutely go mental over that for the entire day. So if you've got kids, you've got that element. So I love the fact that, and the aquarium also, the kids were loving also. So if you're an adult, you can do whatever you want. And if you've got kids, there's the kids club, and there's the water park, and there's the aquarium and stuff. I was looking at going, I can imagine coming here a few years ago, and all my kids are a bit younger, and thinking, well, we chuck them into the kids club and go nuts, and we'll go and have dinner somewhere or something like that. So it wasn't just set up for couples, or there's a real family element to it as well, which really impressed me.
It's interesting, the price, isn't it, on these things? Because at first glance, it can be a bit scary. You know, what are you looking at?
900 a night. You're looking at about 900 a night for the room, which was had two double beds in it. Yeah. It was 55 square meters with a really sizable balcony as well. So, in terms of when I travel, I've got 3 kids, and we struggle to find rooms that are big enough for all of us. That I was thinking, this is the size room that we could justify really staying in, because of the amount of space that you have, and you're not tripping over each other the entire time if you're a bigger group.
Mate, I just paid $380 a night in Lancelin.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not ridiculous. No, I mean, when you see what you're getting, and you've got access to all those facilities.
Yes, you get access to the aquarium, so that's a day that you can spend there and you can go to the water park. As I said, there's a fitness centre which you can go to. All access to all of the other everything that you would want to go to is available to you by having the room, which was and all the restaurants down at the Palm as well. Like Oceano, oh my God, like. That was the most remarkable place I think I'll ever eat. It was like a magic show. You literally walk you're underneath the aquarium at the Lost Chambers Aquarium. So that's your wall, is the entire aquarium. And you walk in, and the first thing they give you is a drink which lights up the moment you touch it. It's like, it's magic. And then they take you behind a curtain and actually give you a magic show. And then suddenly you look down and there's something lighting up, and it's your meal. And I'm thinking, what's going on here? And there's a book which you can't see because this isn't actually a video, but I'm holding onto the book they give you as part of the meal, which is by Gregor Berger, which is explaining every single meal to you and what it is, because what you're looking at isn't what it seems. There's a marshmallow, which isn't a marshmallow. There's a hot dog, which is actually lobster. They give you a treasure chest to unlock. You delve your hand into the misty fog or smoke or whatever you want to call it, and pull out something because we're not sure what it is, and it's a sea urchin.
Wow.
And there was a candle that they came out, candle, we'll light the candle for you. That's your meal. Like, they cut the top off the candle, and they've made a candle out of foie gras, which was, and you're thinking, what on earth is going on? It was incredible. You're taken on a journey of imagination the entire time, and everywhere you went, everyone had a different story, and that was what I really enjoyed. That they would tell you why you're getting the meal, how they established the restaurant, and why. And you can say, there's a story behind everything. So it's such an entertaining.
It's great theatre.
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic to have everyone going to such effort to not just give you a meal, but making it an experience. And everyone in the restaurant was looking around and going, how cool is this? And you're like, they're about to get up to this part, and there are a couple of tables behind. Wait until you see what's happening in 15 minutes.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, isn't it, for us, out of Perth, also just to see the level of, as you say, the staff, the way they treat you, the way they speak with you, the professionalism. It's really interesting to be out in the world and somewhere as extraordinary as that.
Yeah, and that went to so much effort. And their ability to remember names, I found incredible as well. There's so many people floating around, and anyone who you had anything to do with, a couple of days later we go, hello, Mr. Craig. And I'm like, how do you remember mine? I don't remember your name. It's an ability that I think, from a service perspective, is quite incredible, that they can remember so many people and pay everyone so much respect the entire time when they're dealing with so many different families or high profile people or whatever it is, and you're just walking through, they've met you once, and suddenly they're like, "Oh, how you going?"
Mate, I'm just so impressed you know so many Beyonce songs.
I'm a good Googler, and my kids are dancers, so they love that sort of stuff.
Right.
No, you did really well,
Yeah, I mean, the audience might have picked up how many were in there. I think I missed a few, but anyway.
I think you had about 3 or 4 just then. But a lot of, from
Google's
younger
important.
days and just sort of into her career now.
Oh, I thought you just knew them, you know.
But yeah, I could really say to people, if it's the sort of thing which you would get so much out of. Like, you can look at the cost and you go, oh, it might be too much for a lot of families or anything like that. But when you throw everything else on top and the experience, if you've got the opportunity to do something like that, I think you'd walk away going, oh my goodness, because it's Instagram moments the entire time. It's something you will never experience in a normal situation, I don't think. And they've gone out of their way to make sure that it's unique and more than just going to a hotel, which was what really impressed me. I was chatting to an American group. There was a group of 4 guys and 3 girls up at Nobu, up at Cloud 22, and they'd got themselves a cabana, which looks like an actual house. It's so big and with so much stuff in it. And they'd spent the entire day there, and we're just having a great time. Yeah. And we were heading out to one of the nightclubs afterwards. They said to me, "Come and kick off with us." Like, they were hammered. And I said, "No, I've got to go to one of the restaurants for something." But they were having the greatest time ever, and we're just commenting about how they hadn't seen anything like that, before as well. So everyone you spoke to was like, "How amazing is this joint?" And it just felt felt like you were someone special just by being there.
Yeah. It sounds like there's plenty of memorable experiences for everyone to sort of get out from a trip like that, especially.
Now, Penny.
Yes.
You're going to have some memorable. You're off to the States for.
Yes, for just over 4 weeks, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. Our listeners probably do. Actually, we have spoken about it on the podcast before that I am getting married.
Checking you out
very soon, and off on a honeymoon. So yeah, going off honeymoon. I said that a bit strangely. Off to the States next week. So
congratulations on the forthcoming wedding, and have a fantastic time in the honeymoon, and we'll look forward to having you back.
Yes, thank you. I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll be coming back with lots of stories as well to sort of share with you as well.
Where are you going?
We fly to New York first, and then we'll go to Washington DC. Then we're doing a road trip through Nashville, Memphis, down to Mississippi, and then my best friend, or maid of honor actually, lives in New Orleans at the moment, so we'll go to her house and stay there for a little bit, and then fly up to Pittsburgh, and then do a little trip around Pennsylvania, and end up at my fiance's uncle has a lake house in Pennsylvania that we'll stay at, which is about an hour and a half out of New York. So then we'll fly back to Perth via Hong Kong after that. So it's a jam-packed trip.
How good is that?
Yeah, it sounds
really excited.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for your time today, and I guess we'll speak to you soon, and hopefully have you back on the podcast.
Absolutely, we're going to have Craig all over the joint.
Yeah, that's great.
I won't say no. I had the choice of going to Launceston to cover West Coast getting flogged by Hawthorn, or going to Dubai. It wasn't a tough decision.
That's great. Thank you.